Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to my preview and prediction videos. We are resuming the preview and prediction videos now, but now that I've finished the Power 5, we'll be going to the Group of 5. And today, I'll be starting out the Group of 5 with the team that pretty much you could say was the champion of the Group of 5 last year, and that would be the Cincinnati Bearcats. Cincinnati last year went 13-1, with their only loss being to Alabama in the Cotton Bowl, which they just got out-muscled. Alabama, compared to a team like that, was just going to be too much for them anyways. Their offense never got going with Desmond Ridder, and their defense could not stop Alabama's run game. They were ready for Bryce Young and Alabama to be throwing the ball over the field, while Nick Saban had pretty much was playing chess while they were playing checkers and dialed up the run game with Brian Robinson. Now, the rest of the year last year, they had some good wins against Indiana and Notre Dame, and then they, of course, had their American Athletic Conference schedule. And to be honest, they had a couple of games that were close that should not have been close, like at Navy, against Tulsa, at first against South Florida, but in all fairness, they did pretty much take care of business. So, let's check my notes to see what I think about them. Well, Luke Fickell is in his 6th year at Cincinnati. He's a great head coach. He's going to be a great head coach as long as he's at Cincinnati, and if he leaves. They lost a ton of talent to the NFL draft, including their two best corners in Sauce Ahmad Gardner and Kobe Bryant, not the basketball player, rest in peace. The football player, cornerback. They also lost Desmond Ridder, their star-studded quarterback, Jerome Ford at running back, Alec Pierce at wide receiver, and others such as that. So they're having a big turnover of talent. Now, the one thing that really stands out with Cincinnati and the American Athletic Conference in general is with their turnover in talent, this is going to make them liable to having a lot more trouble with teams around them that are getting better. So, we'll see how they do. Now, let's see what their roster shows. At quarterback, they have multiple options. They have bunch of redshirt players, two redshirt freshmen in Brady Lichtenberg, Jacob Hoeing, redshirt sophomore, and Evan Prater, and a senior transfer quarterback, Ben Bryant from Eastern Michigan. Whoever wins that, you also have a freshman in Luther Richeisen. So it's going to be between all 5 of them of who's going to have the starting job for Cincinnati this year. Running back, you got a transfer running back from LSU in Corey Kiner. He was good for LSU last year. He was honestly better than John Emery Jr. He was probably, in my opinion, the second best behind, what was his name? He was their top running back. I believe he went to the 49ers. Ty Davis-Price, that's his name. So, there's your backfield. Now, wide receiver, you have Jaden Thompson, Tyler Scott, Trey Tucker. Also, you have a senior transfer, Nick Mardner, coming in from Hawaii. So, that'll be a good little help in, little depth come in. And if he proves himself, he can be a great piece to him. Tight end, they still have Josh Wiley and Leonard Taylor. Offensive line, they got some seniors on the offensive line. All of their projected starting offensive linemen are seniors except for the center, who's a junior. So that will be a plus for them. Defensively, you had some turnover with Majan Sanders and, of course, the 2 DBs that I talked about earlier. Replacing Majan Sanders, you have a redshirt sophomore in Jaheim Thomas and Todd Bumphus. Linebackers, you have Deshaun Pace, Wilson Huber. Defensive line, Jabari Taylor, Jawan Briggs, and Malik Van. In the secondary, you have a redshirt sophomore replacing Sauce Gardner and That's who. Well, I misspoke. The linebackers are Deshaun Pace and Jaheim Thomas. The corner that's replacing Sauce Gardner most likely is Todd Bumphus, redshirt sophomore, or Jaquan Shepard, or Jaquise Hardaway, whoever wins the starting job there. The other corner spot, you can either do Arquan Bush or Justin Harris. Nickelback, Taj Ward's back, so that's a good thing for them. It's safeties, Javon Hicks and Jacob Dingle. So, all around, still a solid roster. There's still going to be a force to be reckoned with in the American. But how far did they take a step back this year? Well, let's see. Let's get to the schedule and let's see how they do. Week 1, you start out with a bang. On the road in Fayetteville to take on the Razorbacks. I think Arkansas, just like last year, they made a big jump from 2020 to 2021, winning 9 games under Sam Pittman. And Sam Pittman has a lot of his guys back. They did lose Traylon Burks, but they got Jaden Hazelwood out of the transfer portal. And they got Drew Sanders out of the transfer portal as well to help out on defense. They still get their coordinators, so I think that Arkansas is going to be too much for you. And you catch your first loss on the road in the SEC. So, 0-1, then you play Kennesaw State at home. Kennesaw State is nowhere as talented as you. If you come into this game sleepwalking after that loss, which I doubt you will, they could sneak up, but I think you get a win here to go to 1-1 before you play a neutral site game against another Miami team, or another Ohio team, I just spoiled it, Miami of Ohio, in Paul Brown Stadium, where the Cincinnati Bengals play. I think you get a win here. Miami of Ohio, they're a good MAC team, but they're nowhere near the talent that the American Athletic Conference top-tier teams have. So, you come out of the gate 2-1, then you host Indiana. You went on the road in Indiana last year and got a win. Indiana was a bad team last year. They had a lot of injuries, even at quarterback with Michael Penix, who's out of there now. Now enter Connor Bazelak, who transferred in from Missouri. Indiana, I think, is going to be an improved team from last year. Maybe not to the effect of how they were in 2020, but I do think they're going to be better. And I think you get a loss here. I think Indiana comes into Cincinnati, gets revenge for last year, and right after that, you have to go on the road to Tulsa. So you're 2-2, starting conference play on the road in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is going to be a very tough game. I think Tulsa is going to be a very good team in the American this year. They have been the past couple of years. It's on the road, and it's going to be a very physical and tough game. I think just the amount of players and key pieces that you lost last year is going to take effect. I think Tulsa gets a win. You lose 2 in a row. Now you're 2-3 before you come back home to play South Florida. Now, South Florida, I believe, is one of the worst teams in the FBS. I think you'll beat them no problem and get back to 500 before your bye week at 3-3. Now, after your bye week, you have 2 very difficult games, both on the road. SMU, they still have Tanner Mordecai, I believe, one of the best quarterbacks in the group of 5, and then UCF, who comes in, has a lot of transfers coming in. Gus Malzahn's in his second year. I think you lose both these games. It's not that I think that both these teams are miles ahead of you. It's just you lost so much last year. And SMU and UCF are still riding to where they were last year. And UCF may be even better. But I think you just stumble a little bit, and now you're 3-5 before playing Navy. Now this losing streak, you play Navy at home. Navy is a very physical team. They love to run the triple option. And that extends their drives and shortens your drives, pretty much makes the game shorter. I just think with their play style, you're going to get tripped up here after going back-to-back on the road, and I think you lose here, and now you're 3-6 in jeopardy of not being bowl eligible. Then you play East Carolina at home. East Carolina is another great team, but I think you shake this losing streak by winning at home against East Carolina to become 4-6. Then you play at Temple. Temple is a decent team. They have DeJuan Mathis, who transferred in from Georgia. I don't think that they're on the level of you, even though you took a step back. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think you get the win. So you're 5-6 before you play Tulane at home for bowl eligibility. This is going to be a big game in Nippert Stadium in Cincinnati, and I think you come out with a win. I think you finish the season 6-6, a big step back from last year, but when you lose that amount of talent on a team like this, it's going to be it's understandable. So there you go. Cincinnati Bearcats go 6-6 after going 12-0 in the regular season last year. You'll be back to your winning ways next year. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this series, and Go Dogs.